Aloha Pa, God is glorious. The Baha'i greeting to all the people of the earth, whoever you are and wherever you are and whenever you are. Today, well, I'm dreadfully tired. Time is about 11:20 and today is 24th of November. We're doing not too bad so far. I explain what I know, and that is what I am. And these things might be useful. So last time we talked about human, and now today we're going to discuss to see whether there is a soul that can exist after the body dissolves. Is there another life? The word life is really a wrong word. Another plane of existence, I should say. With mankind as it is continues after this life. It's definitely the block building prime directive of all the religions, that the intelligent being, whether it's human being or anybody else, anywhere else, would have to continue to exist even though the body is gone. Essentially the argument is that, let me give you some example, the body is like a car and the spirit and the soul or the real man is like the driver. Of course, anything happens to the car at any time, it's an indication that there is a driver. So, as many people, they try to, analyze the brain, and they say, for this feeling, there is that part, for that action, there is this part, and they're analyzing all these parts of the brain, trying to say that, okay, brain is what we are. Like other things, I have objection to this kind of view, because brain is the manifestations of an active individual behind it. So if we are exactly using the brain to be here, if the body is our means of communications here in this plane of existence, naturally whatever we do, it would have an impact on the body. So, whether the secretion of certain elements or, electrical impact or whatever it is, that does not say that there is no soul to the man. Well, if you, again, read the books, biological books, really, they say human being and chimpanzee are so similar. Even they say chimpanzee have 10% more DNA. Like they have more alpha hemoglobin and other things. And the tip of their chromosomes is more DNA. And there are other animals, like many birds, they can see better than man. Wolf and dogs, they can smell better. Horse, they can hear better. So when it comes to five senses of hearing inside animals, many of them they surpass human capacity of connecting and understanding the material circumstances. So why is it that they don't have a soul and man has? By the soul, distinctive part is the thinking power. Thinking is different from processing. Processing is what you put in a computer. Computer is a design. It's not a designer. It's a design that is made by a designer. I've designed and put a lot of information in it, so anytime you punch the question to the computer, it will come back and answers the answers that you put into the computer, or the combination of those answers. It cannot come up with a new answers if you ask the computer, if the information is not put into it. Animals are much the same. They might look very sophisticated, even in the beginning. Some birds would, weave nests, and human beings in the beginning may not have been able to do that. Some animals, they could swim. In the beginning, man was not even able to swim. So those faculties, as I before explained, mankind is not as good as the other animals, but there's thinking power. So let's explain this a little further by saying an animal spirit, there is an animal spirit, there's vegetable spirits, or all, as we said at the very beginning of the topic, the whole world is a parallel world, side by side, of physics and metaphysics. Like the idea of a cup is in the cup and the idea of the cup, design of the cup, they go hand to hand. Otherwise a cup would not be existing without that design of a designer. So in that way there is soul or metaphysic for everything. But the argument is this: the human soul continue to exist. Any other souls or any other metaphysical part, it will dissolve and essentially will not go to the other side, other plane of existence. They can all be there without, existing in that manner. What do I mean is, if you have a design of water which flows as a liquid or gets other form, it's a combinations of the hydrogen and oxygen characteristics and properties. So if you put the properties of many elements together, you can create a dog. So if the dog dies, that dissolves the picture, the big picture goes away. All the particular designs go back to the original elements that comprise the big picture. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. The pieces are put together, and now in the center there's a dog, there's a cat, is live and well. As soon as the dog dies and the cat dies, what happens, all the pieces of jigsaw puzzle scatters. So every piece would come with that particular responsibility, property, characteristic, or metaphysical aspect to it. So if the dog dies and becomes oxygen or carbon, the carbon always comes with its characteristic, with its design, with its property, with its metaphysical part. So that means dog is dissolved into those individual little metaphysical part. So it can't go to the other side, because simply when you look at the original element, they all do possess, right here in this life, with themselves. There's no carbon that does not have the property of carbon. There's no water without the property of water. So dog as a whole, animal as a whole, when it dissolves and disintegrates, it goes to small bits of metaphysical part that they stay in this life. Therefore it cannot go to the other side. Is this the same case with the human being? No. Of course, many part of the human being that is, we say already, we said that human has a spirit of vegetation, plants, looks like plant, it grows like plant. That sort of growing automatically dies out from man when he dies. Does not have those properties. Or sight, or hearing and listening. When he dies, does not have those faculties with him. So on the other side, he's not capable of hearing or listening, because his device is gone. The device by which he could listen, which was, ears or sees, the sight, it's taken away. Therefore the spirit automatically cannot hear the physical things, because it needs the physical ear to hear, or taste matter. So what is particular about him is that there are some part or characteristic of a human being, those who automatically be asking more questions. If the spirit of a being, a live being, like an animal, in my example, like a dog, is the combinations of everything else. So his spirit is nothing but combining the properties of matter together, like just like a Toyota. It's the same thing. So a Toyota's design can dissolve once all the parts are gone away. So that design is to bring up the smaller design together. In the case of a human being, when we trace him, we see that he shows some other characteristic that cannot be traced to be the result of the body together. For example, we put the elements, all what is required to create a human body, and alive and well, just like two twins. The one is Joe and the other one is Jim. We see these two guys are absolutely identical in all their physicalities, especially the essential elements in their brain that is so. So, if the spirits of Joe and Jim is the result and the manifestation of their body, how come they behave different? I remember in Thunder Bay, sometimes in 1989, I think, there was a young Baha'i, a white Anglo-Saxon, named David Troop. He became Baha'i those days, I remember. And I was watching, always I put things under a microscope. And there was a question put towards him that, why do you think man has a spirit? He answered very well. Instinctively, I don't know, with his spirit's spiritual power, the different window he opened, that would be the fate. He immediately answered, and he said that if you look all the animals, such as dogs or cats or swans or birds of the same kind, they show same type of behavior and attitudes, universally, for most part. But in the case of a human being, it's not like that. If all the humans having the same body, they have to show the same characteristic. Yeah, for when it comes to physicality, they will show the same, personalities. But then when it goes to all of a sudden to the spiritual issues and something else, they're different. Let's say in the example of Joe and Jim, Jim becomes a serial killer. He kills people. He's